Hello and welcome to the Shawn Kemp episode of the Hoop Theory Podcast, aka episode 40. My name is Logan Wertman, and today, as always, I am joined by my good friend, Jacob Roth. Jacob, how's it going?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
I was trying to think of 40s. My brain was like scrambling.
Yeah, it seems like there'd be a lot more.
Right?
Lambeer. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's why. Special place in my heart, that guy.
Why?
No, he's
because you're similar
the
play
original
style?
Draymond. Oh yeah, me on the court is just Bill Lambeer for sure.
Yeah, rebounds and pushes people.
Yep, that's about it. That's about it. No, but Shawn Kemp, I feel like, is a historically, just a great 40.
Yeah. I feel like just in my head, when I think about it, I feel like there's more prominent 40s, but I can't think of one. I guess it's just Shawn Kemp.
I mean, Shawn Kemp's pretty prolific. I feel like that's like when you get into those quote unquote niche numbers, I feel like that's a pretty big one.
Yeah, that's true. I think Blake Griffin did it better, not wearing 40, but like what Shawn Kemp was, as a player. But Shawn Kemp was cool too. He wasn't like his peak wasn't as long.
Yeah, that's true. The win also was like that weird. It's like it's a different era of basketball, and everybody did fancy, crazy Blake Griffin things. The win it happened, I feel like also. I didn't realize that episode 40 we're going to discuss the legacy of Shawn Kemp, but here we are.
Yeah. So, before we get into what today's episode is about, which is some of the news that's broken recently in this very young offseason, before we get to that stuff, there's a few things I wanted to clear up from last episode. The first one being, and I'm kind of glad we didn't, we got this wrong, because the Lakers kind of deserve it, to be honest. Apparently, so how we were talking about how they can't claim they have 17 rings because they don't claim the players.
They do, but they just suck.
Apparently they, for the longest time, they never, they didn't have any of the Minneapolis Lakers jerseys, especially George Mikan being the one that, for sure you need to retire.
Yeah, should be there. Do they now?
They didn't. Yeah, they do. And that was in a game on October 30th, 2022. So it was back at the beginning of the season. And it was the Nuggets playing them. And that's, so I remember. That's
your fault.
It.
Not my fault. Yeah, not my fault.
No,
I'm out.
It's my fault for sure. But the thing is, the reason why I'm glad we forgot it is because this, they should have done it before. At this point, it's too late. The only reason they're doing it is because now they can claim they have 17 rings. And they're in order to claim that we have 17 and we're tied with Boston, we need to do this. So we're going to do this. Well, it feels like it's not genuine.
Well, okay. I also don't think the tied with Boston things matters at all. In my brain,
I think it does. I guess to the Lakers. I think it does.
Okay.
How wouldn't it?
I guess that makes me feel better that, and you've seen this headline probably everywhere. Now that we're done and the season's clear, this has been the craziest NBA season ever. All these stories that I'm sure we'll go over as the offseason goes on. Be wow, that was this season. Jordan Poole did get punched by Draymond at the start of this NBA year. The Batman Grant Williams thing. Just Grant Williams as a whole year. That was this year. But I'm sorry, Lakers fans. Eye to eye, heart to heart. I don't care, but I'm glad you finally figured out that arguably one of the greatest players in your franchise's history finally has his numbers in the rafters. I'm glad.
So you can claim his titles, and only for that reason.
Did they not need him for MVP numbers? Maybe they didn't, because he was a four-time league MVP.
Probably. I guess I don't know. I'm not sure if the MVP award is like at the same time as when the league started, there was already the MVP award. I'm not sure. I know because like Finals MVP wasn't a thing until the '60s because Jerry West won the first ever Finals MVP. But yeah, league MVP, not sure. I think it's definitely older than Finals MVP though, because I know Russell and Wilt have several. But
it's also hilarious that it was this year that we met. So right, it was this year. It was October of this season, like right.
And it was a Nuggets game. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was watching it, and I do remember watching it now, but I just totally forgot about that detail. But yeah, so and George Mikan also made it difficult for like because in the past when I've thought ahead to episode 99, I've always thought, oh, Jay Crowder, we're gonna use Jay Crowder, but that's George Mikan's number two. So
not two, it is George Mikan's number. Jay Crowder just happens to use it.
Yes, but in my brain, my young basketball brain growing up, always seeing Jay Crowder wearing 99, that's the guy I think of. But now it's like, okay, but George Mikan's, he's the more prominent one. So
he'll probably get so many flowers when we get to episode 99.
Yeah, I mean, we already gave him quite a few. You said last episode that you wouldn't think it's crazy if the league would just retire his number league-wide.
99.
Yeah.
Well, no, because like if he wasn't like labeled by a lot of people like the first ever basketball all-star guy.
Yeah.
Like he is the first one to just do it.
The first superstar big man. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think we've given George Mikan like more love than maybe any podcast ever at this point in just 2 episodes.
Wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah. So anyways, then the other thing was the easy finals run narrative that we were breaking down. I totally forgot this thought that I felt was like unique. The reason why I wanted to bring it up, like most things I want to bring up, I usually feel like there's a thought that is unique to me, that I want to add to it. Like it's a thought that I haven't heard from anybody else. And I totally forgot to mention that one, which is, I see people saying like, oh, Giannis's ring in 2021, he had a tougher path. He had tougher competition to win that one. And it was like, okay, but he also like struggled more. Like the Bucks weren't as dominant as the Nuggets were. The Nuggets went 16-4. The Bucks, I think, went like 16-10 or something like that. So, like, he faced harder competition, but isn't like the amount of competition, like the struggling in the series, equal to about like the difference in competition?
I also don't think the competition was that crazy different. Like it was. I just feel like people like see the low seed and then turn their brain off.
Mm-hmm.
And we brought it up last episode. That Lakers team was a very, very good historically. If you were to take a bracket of 7 seeds all time, that Lakers team might be the best 7.
100%.
Same conversation with the 6-seeded Warriors. They didn't have to play them, but like this was just a very good. And this Miami team, I think, beats every other 8 seed to ever exist. Obviously,
probably
there's weird matchups.
Other than,
but like I'm just saying, like
Knicks, but
in terms of these being like low seeds, they were all-time low seeds.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with that. But like at the same time, I'm willing to look at Giannis's path and say like that's probably some better competition.
Was that?
But
Celtics. So they went
through Celtics. Before that, they swept the Heat first round. The second
revenge
round,
series.
Yeah, and that was a 3-6 matchup. And then the second round, they faced the Nets with KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. But
if KD wore a smaller shoe,
yeah,
it was Celtics
won.
in 7 or Bucks remember. In 7.
Oh yeah, in that series, in second round, Bucks in 7 that series, and also James Harden played for a very small amount of that series, and Kyrie also got hurt towards the end of it.
Yeah.
So by the end, it was only KD, really, and they still almost lost.
Size 17 shoe, but he should wear 16s, but he likes 17s, or he likes like the extra toe room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
which is funny.
Unique. But anyway.
And then I think they must have faced the Celtics in the conference finals because Celtics are always in the conference finals.
Oh, no, I know they did. I just can't remember if it was 6 or 7.
I don't really remember that series very well. Boston versus Milwaukee. But regardless, Milwaukee made it to the finals and won in 6 against the Suns because the Suns won. They went up 2-0 against the Bucks because I remember after the Suns went up 2-0, it was like, oh, the Suns are going to win the title. Chris Paul's going to get his first ring, and the Bucks just destroyed them the last 4 games. It's like total flip.
I'm trying to find which one it was.
It was 2021, if that helps. I don't know if you put that in there.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It just keeps showing me that it was 2020. Yeah, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you showing me the 2022 season?
I think maybe Robert Williams was out. Something like that. I think the Celtics might have had an injury.
The Celtics lost to the... That's the year the Celtics were bad. The Celtics got beat by the Nets round 1, and then they played the Hawks in the finals.
Oh,
and the Hawks took them to 6.
Hawks year. Yes, of course. Okay.
Because I was like, this doesn't feel. I was like, because it was like, this doesn't. And I remember because that was like trade deadline. The Nets built this super team, and the Celtics had their not super team, but the Celtics just sucked.
James Harden got traded really early in the season. It was like 8 games into the season.
Why do I think? What happened at the trade deadline?
Nothing really. It's just they.
Anyway. We were the 7th seed.
Kyrie was out a lot, I'm sure. KD didn't play a lot. If you're wondering why they were not a super high seed.
I remember it I remember watching game 2 now, and we just got. I was like, it was
Wait,
like
did you say the Celtics were the 7th seed? I barely remember that. That the Celtics just had had like a not good year in 2021.
Well, I also, if I can just pull up the.
Oh, yeah, because that was back when it was like, split up Tatum and Brown.
Which
version? That continued into the next season.
I was like, which time are we talking about?
Oh, because 2021 was the first Celtics season after Kemba was gone and after Hayward was gone. So it was like no point guard city, you know? Like, it was like, who's supposed to have the ball? This isn't working. And that was before Marcus Smart really became
in my brain, for some reason, Jaylen Brown barely played. Like, he had like a big chunk. Was he?
No, I think it was just that the fact that it was right after Kemba left, right after Gordon Hayward left.
They went 36 and 36.
Yeah, because it was a shortened season. But I think that's what it was that they just didn't have any facilitator. Like it was, it was Brad Stevens' last year coaching.
Yep.
And they didn't have Gordon Hayward or Kemba anymore, so they didn't have like a point guard or a ball handler.
I wanted us to get Oladipo.
Oh yeah,
because I feel like he was the guy to be like finally give us a facilitator, something.
Yeah, and he was like really available at the time.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we got that squared away. But anyways, the other thing that I kind of wanted to bring up with this was that the Nuggets went 16-4, in this postseason, which is like one of the best like postseason runs of all time. I know 16-4 doesn't sound like insane, but there's only ever since they started doing the 16 win format. So for the past 23 seasons now, I want to say, since 2000, or maybe it was 21 seasons. So since like 2002, the only other team so there's been 2 teams that have like equal to 16-4 or better. One of them was the 2002 Lakers, somewhere in there. One of the Lakers teams with the Shaq and Kobe pairing. They went 16-1. Oh no, I'm butchering this. Okay. It was the Golden State Warriors in 2017. They went 16-1. 15-1 was one of the Lakers years. So that was before the 16-win format. And then 16-4 was the Spurs in 2007. or 04 or 05. Spurs, one of the Spurs years, they went 16-4. But in terms of point differential or net rating, either one, like using that as a tiebreaker, the Nuggets were like a plus 8.4 or something like that this postseason, versus the Spurs like 4 point something, 4.5. So which is a pretty significant difference in terms of net rating. And so yeah, it was a very, very dominant postseason for the Nuggets, and two of those losses like were against the Suns that required like some of the most insane like playoff performances from two guys on their team at the same time in order to pull off. And then game 2, I still feel like of the Heat series, the final series was like a game that we really shouldn't have lost. It was just like a freak occurrence of situations of
well, no, and you've even said that they game planned it bad. Not bad, but like the Heat found a hole, and it was a game hole in the game plan. Like it just happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Their zone was effective, but at the same time, they were getting every call, especially down the stretch, and the Nuggets were not hitting any shots. And on top of that, the Nuggets made more breakdowns, like communication-wise, defensively, than I've seen like the entire season.
Okay, I guess I was confused. But I feel like you can't use it as like a hard fact when it was just like a fluke game for everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was crazy weird how fluky it was. Like,
but it was fluky both ways, is what I was trying to say.
Fluky both ways for what do you mean?
Both teams were not acting like themselves.
If you mean that by the Heat were playing very well.
Yes, that's exactly what I was saying.
Okay.
That it just sometimes when a team's like a little hot and a team's a little cold, it makes it look way worse than it. You know what I mean? It like blows things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, that was like a weird rabbit hole that I didn't mean to go down at all. But no, I just was I was like confused. But yeah.
Yeah, no. But yeah, so that I kind of wanted to bring up that was just like our finals run, our playoff run as like 16-4 record, just how dominant it was. And that kind of coupled with this narrative of like how, this has been the easiest championship run ever. It's like, well, you have to look at like, maybe I'm willing to admit the competition might be lighter than most, but it's still not as light as just saying like the seeds. But even with that, like we also dominated. So isn't that what you're supposed to do against weaker competition? And then the other thing, last thing I wanted to bring up from last episode was just like a really quick thing, which was MPJ. When I was talking about his interview, I forgot to mention how he said, one of the quotes from that interview, he said that he was happy that Malone took him out in crunch time and subbed in Bruce Brown, because Bruce Brown got that huge offensive rebound and, was one of the reasons they were able to close it out. So yeah, one more little flower that I'm giving to MPJ for just being an unbelievable teammate this year. That's like completely overlooked by, like, it's being seen now, but I've been saying this, like, if you guys have been listening to the podcast, I've been saying this since
at the minimum,
or like in the regular season. Really, I was like, whenever we did that episode
All-Star
where I
break-ish.
ranked, wherever I ranked my like favorite Nuggets. Yeah, one of the things I was saying about MPJ in there was how much he's sacrificed and how like good of a teammate he's been, which is just so completely different from the way people talked about him coming into the league and so far in his career.
Which there's also been, I think that like this year has also been very different for him. Like people talked about him that way because that's how you could argue he was coming out of Missouri. I think Michael Malone was like obviously I don't know him, but like the interview, everything about it. If he didn't have Michael Malone as his head coach, I feel like it would be a very, just because Bones obviously couldn't handle the Heat. Now he doesn't have a ring.
Well, he does. Like he did get a ring. But yeah.
Oh, does he still gonna get one? That's lame to me.
He was here this season.
No,
yeah.
I get that. Like they can. That's lame. You're a loser. If you go get a ring,
especially for that one, because we traded him for I would get it if we traded him for something that helped us, but we traded him for nothing. We just dropped it. We just traded him for 2 second-round picks.
That well, we didn't use for anything. My thing is like Anderson Varejao would have gotten a ring either way.
Either way.
And I'm like, that's so dumb. Like, there's a difference if you're with the team until the trade deadline, then they ship you off and you end up somewhere else and you go win a ring or whatever.
Well, that's what it was with Bones. And I don't know about Varejao that season, but when he got traded.
It's Anderson, respectfully, it's Anderson Varejao. No. He was
the reason he was.
No, it wasn't, but I'm not saying it was like he was this integral core piece.
Oh.
I just think it's lame.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm never in that spot. I'm never going to be in that spot, but I just think that's wild.
I understand it.
In my brain, that's the equivalent of working with a team for 7 months and then transferring. Okay, let's say you work for a big company and you work in team A. And you're working, and then you end up, whatever, they say, we're going to move you to team B. But then at the end of the year, team A and team B are first, or team A wins the year thing and they get a bonus. And then you're like, where the fuck's my bonus? I was there for 6 months and a day. That's just weird to me.
Yeah, but in that situation,
do you understand that?
Yeah, I get it a little bit.
If you were there for the second half, if you were here for the half that they crunched the numbers, they won the race to the end, they fought through the playoffs, but you weren't there for that part. You were there for the other part that was kind of not important at all.
You could argue, but in some situations, if that KCP trade was made at the deadline instead of in the offseason, I'm more than okay with Monte Morris and Will Barton getting a ring. I kind of feel like they should get one anyways.
That's wild. That's wild.
They're how good they are, what they provided to the team was able to serve them in a trade.
They didn't. They were not good enough to, so they didn't.
No, listen. Okay, but if they weren't that good, then they couldn't have got KCP. Their value is what got them the piece to improve. They had to be good enough in the first place in order to be worth that for the Wizards.
So do all the picks that the Pelicans pick with that Anthony Davis trade, all those draft picks, because of the value that they brought to the table as a draft pick for the Lakers, do all of those Pelicans players get rings from the Lakers season?
No, because that's a hypothetical. That's not the same thing.
It's the value that this pick, which is now a human, brought to the team, got them something.
You not see how that's completely different? A player.
I'm being facetious on purpose. I'm being obnoxious, but I think that's just a loser brainwave.
I'm very thankful to Monte Morris, and I without Monte Morris, we would not have the team we have right now. Without Gary Harris, we wouldn't have the team we have right now.
Absolutely, you're not wrong. But Gary Harris hasn't worn a Nuggets jersey in. Does he get a ring too?
I would like him to, but I don't.
I hope I'm not the only one that thinks this is crazy. And I get the emotional that guy. Okay, who's an example of okay, Marcus Smart could never win a ring as a Celtic, probably won't. But that dude will always be he's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
The same way you look at Gary Harris, the same way you look at Monte Ellis, the way that you look at as a fan, you're that's a dude that is a forever insert whatever they are. Kelly Olynyk is forever a Celtic. But they don't need a ring. I don't know.
Yeah. I wouldn't be mad if they gave him a ring. I wouldn't complain. I do the fact that Bones gets one and they don't. That kind of sucks. I don't like that. You know what I mean?
I guess the core of my argument is from the not the fan side or the deserving, because I just think it's crazy that Bones would want one. I get not wanting a ring. That I'm not stupid. I understand the wanting a championship ring part. But like, he can't look at that on his shelf and be like, I earned that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the reason that I have that. And like, he
like
is, but he also,
no, he's
it's
not.
just weird.
That's different. For him, it's different because we won the ring despite him. We like he only tanked our chances of getting the ring because he sabotaged his relationship with the rest of the team and with his head coach, and we had to like give him away for no value of that, like for that championship run. Like we didn't gain anything. If anything, we had a hole at our backup point guard, and so Bruce Brown was thrust into a role that he wasn't like ideal for, but he made the best of it. Like, so if anything, he hurt our chances a little bit of getting the ring. You know what I mean? That's why I don't like him getting it. Like,
but I just feel like if you're not on the championship team, don't get a ring.
That's a fair. I don't think that's insane, but I also don't think it's insane for them like, to recognize players.
Yes, but the Gary Harris one is way too far. I won't ever, because has it what 2019 was that his last year?
2021 trade deadline. 2020. It was right before Jamal tore his ACL. It was the Aaron Gordon trade. Gary Harris for Aaron Gordon.
Who am I thinking of then? I don't even know.
I'm not sure. 2019.
For some reason, I thought your little core got broken. I guess that's 4 years ago. Or my brain just I don't even know. I'm a potato brain. But yeah. Anyway, that was just. I was not ready for that. I just. if you're not on the team, and like my thing is like it's also hard because like the trade deadline, those games matter, but they really don't.
After?
Before the trade deadline.
Oh, before.
No, after are the only games you could argue that do matter. Because, like, being an active part of the playoff run.
It was the opposite for the Nuggets this year. Because we clinched our spot before the deadline, basically. And so after the deadline, we load managed.
You could just say playoffs. Regular season, as long as you are a playoff team.
I didn't know you were including playoff. Yeah.
No, and that's more what because those are the only games that in terms of like what gets you a ring on your finger, that's the only games that matter, like at all.
I thought you were just talking about regular season. My bad.
Yeah, no, and I worded that poorly. But no, I'm just and I'm saying this as a human that will never have a team championship sports ring ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. But I just don't get the like I want one because I was a part of that team for 3 months.
I don't know if that's the reason they do it. If there was somebody who was like, "Hey, we should get a ring, right?" If we were, and that's the reason they do. I think it was more the other side where a team, the culture of like, "Oh, let's reward these guys that we had to ship away," to change things up.
Then why is there weird rules on you have to be part of so many games and so many things and
weird
certain
rules?
Dates? No, that's how Anders and Verjai technically could have gotten both. It's because it was so many games with both franchises.
Oh, I thought it was just if you were on the team's roster during that season, that basketball season, then you are eligible to receive a ring. I'm pretty sure.
I always thought it was like a similar to an awards thing where there's like a certain amount of like games that are participation something. I don't even know. I don't know why my brain thought that.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense.
Maybe it's franchise dependent.
Yeah, I think the franchise chooses whether or not they do give people rings, I think.
Oh, yeah. There's just no rules.
Yeah.
Just no rules. Sorry.
But I think it's just like kind of convention. Like it's kind of convention just to everybody who was on the roster on a team during the season, they all get rings.
Yeah. Just whoever.
Yeah, like I saw. I don't know if this is real, but I saw a thing a few weeks ago that was like, if the Nuggets win the 2023 NBA championship, Carmelo Anthony is going to receive a championship ring. Like
what?
I don't know. If it was some report or if it was just completely made up. I don't remember.
But that has to be not real. That's craziness. I
think it is because I feel like I would have heard more about it than just that one thing. But
So apparently some franchises will do multiple tiers of different types of ring. So like tier 1 is the tier for players, coaches, important personnel. Even if they didn't play a game, they rode the bench all season or was traded, they would still receive a ring when the Raptors won. Super fan, I'm not going to say his last name right. Everybody knows who he is. Nav Badia.
For what team?
Raptors super fan.
Nav,
yeah.
Oh, no. Are you talking about the old guy with the turban?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I thought you were talking about the rapper.
I think it's Nav Batia or Nav Batia.
Okay.
Batia or whatever. Drake and the Raptors mascot all got tier 1 rings when the Raptors
the Raptors mascot. Is that just one person? The Raptors mascot?
It just says, heck, the Raptors mascot has one, according to basketballworld.com. Okay. Tiers 2 and tier 3 were like front office, medical staff, doctors, people that work directly with the players that weren't the aforementioned people. Tier 4 would have been cheerleaders, ball boys, those have worked indirectly with the team, sponsors, concession stand employees, etc. And then tier 5, that if you were at the game on opening night of the 2022 season at the Raptors home court, they would give you a ring courtesy of the organization.
All the fans?
Courtside.
Oh, courtside. Okay.
Oh, no. I added courtside magically. Not courtside. If you just at the game on opening night, you can get replicas for $40.
Yeah, so if you pay, though. Okay.
But there were different tiers.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So I'm assuming that the ring, the ring that the players got was very different than the one the ball boy got.
I'm sure. Or the ones that the fans can buy. Yes, I'm sure.
But anyway, yeah, this is wild.
Yeah. I think we can move into the rest of what we have today, which is the Bradley Beal trade, mainly, is what we wanted to talk about. For those who don't know, I guess, Bradley Beal got traded from the Washington Wizards to the Phoenix Suns. That was on Sunday, I think is when that news broke.
Yes.
And today is Tuesday, by the way, for if anybody's wondering. But so that deal was Brad Beal, Jordan Goodwin, and Isaiah Todd in exchange for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and then I didn't see like the specific details on the picks, but I saw there's just a number of seconds and a number of swaps. Because obviously Phoenix doesn't have any firsts left to trade since the Durant deal. But this kind of surprises me, honestly, that this was the best deal out there for the Wizards. Just in terms of picks, like I feel like there would have been a team willing to give a first round pick, but maybe not. But also you have to take into account the Brad Beal no trade clause thing. So Bradley Beal had a no trade clause on his contract, so he could choose whether or not he would go to a team that the Wizards had a trade for. Yeah.
Which begs the question, is Brad Beal dumb?
Why?
Why would you pick the Suns? I get the why, but like, you know what I'm foreseeing? We just talked about them. The 36 and 36 Celtics that didn't have a point guard. Yeah. There's only so much time the ball can be in a human's hands, and you just found three of the highest, like in my brain, like Luka's on a different moon. James Harden's a different moon, but like in terms of how much a guy's going to have the ball, D-Book's not as bad as I probably am giving him credit for in my brain, but like KD, Brad Beal.
Which KD's also a very low usage compared to how good he is. But Brad Beal, like...
There's only so much basketball to go around. I'm not convinced this works.
I don't know. I'm higher on it than other people are. I've heard mostly, almost entirely, like negative reactions on the Suns side of things, like people saying it's bad for the Suns. I don't hate it. To be honest, I don't love it, but I don't hate it either because... Like the three that they did have already, Chris Paul's in theory a higher usage guy than Brad Beal needs to be. Like Brad Beal was higher usage on the Wizards because it was the Wizards, and they don't have anybody else to give the ball to.
But and I guess maybe I just am like, visualizing a drop in usage and then an equal drop in production. Because is he just a 15 points a game for $1 zillion?
No, he's going to be better dramatic. Than that. Yeah,
but
and he's going to.
I don't think it works.
I think like the playmaking side of his game and like the off-ball stuff of his game is just going to be much more utilized in this situation than it has been since John Wall, really. And he's a much better player than he was since the last time he had John Wall as a teammate. So, at least he was, and he was 2 years ago. I don't know.
Has he peaked and then has already started coming back down and they're equal again?
It's hard to tell if he's really that much worse, or
if it was just the Wizards.
Yeah, if it's just the Wizards wanting to tank and wanting him to sit games out, like milk his injuries, and stuff like that. Not sure, but his numbers for sure have been down since his whatever year that was, probably 2021, which is the year that we couldn't remember anything about just a little bit ago. That's when he was either led the league in scoring or slightly was behind Steph in league the scoring champion. Is one of those. I think he averaged like 30 something points per game that
Steph
season.
Was first with 32, and
I think Brad was just a couple decimal points, maybe even one decimal
Brad
point.
was. Why did you give me points and not per game?
They just
Brad
did total
had
points.
31.3.
31.3 versus 30
even. 32
okay.
Even. But
okay. Yeah. Not as close as I thought.
That's a crazy year from Steph. That was just a crazy year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I remember Brad, like it was a competition for most of the year. Like towards the end, it was like, oh, who's going to get it? But
interesting is Steph outscored him by 130 points total, though. So Steph played more games and had more points. Mm-hmm. The opposite of the Joel Embiid approach.
Yeah, that's true.
For reference, to prove my point, in 2021, or the 2020-2021 season that we're looking at, Joel Embiid was 16th in total points scored, but 4th in points per game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who was total? Who led the league in total points this year? Do you know?
This year, I will zoop.
I don't know who that would have been because it feels like everybody missed so many games this year.
Guess.
Is it obvious?
No,
Jason
Tatum.
It's
obvious because of how happy I am. Yes, Jason Tatum with 2,225 points. Next closest is Joel Embiid.
Oh,
Shea's 4th.
Okay. Yeah,
Third place is like sneaky, but it's not.
Booker? No. He missed a lot of games.
Booker's not even top 20.
Yeah, he missed a lot of games. Is it somebody from the Western Conference or Eastern Conference?
Yes. One could argue that this was a very disappointing year.
You're not going to... You said yes when I said...
Western. Sorry, you said Western first, so I said yes. I didn't even... Yeah, Western Conference.
So
I feel like it's not that sneaky, but it's like, duh.
Luka.
Kind of. Yeah, Luka's 3rd.
Okay.
It's Tatum, Embiid, Luka, Shea, Giannis, Ant. Ant was the 6th most points scored this year.
He probably didn't miss very many games.
Yeah, because he's... I don't know where he's at on the points per game list, and it's 16th on points per game.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, back into the Suns, this deal. Brad Beal, I feel like he could work with the Suns a little bit at least. Like, I know people are saying like, oh, there's no point guard. Then at the same time, they're like, oh, you can't share the ball that much. And it was like, I don't know. I just feel like they made it work a little bit with Chris Paul, Booker, and Durant. Like, if you add Beal into that, I don't see why it has to be that much. Like, because those guys get off the ball quicker than Chris Paul does. All of those guys. Like, Brad Beal especially. Like, he doesn't...
I also thought that that's why the Suns didn't work. Was they had so much money into what they had. And it's not that they weren't a good team, but they just didn't have anything else. They didn't have enough time with the basketball. Like, they didn't have enough possessions to use all of this offensive craziness they had. But
yeah, I guess to me, I feel like Brad Beal fits a little bit better than Chris Paul, just because like Chris Paul's not slowing everything down, because a Chris Paul team has to kind of flow and go a certain way, and Brad Beal can more like play the same style as Booker and Durant want to. And like, I don't know, I don't see any of those guys as like selfish ball dominant superstars. Like, obviously all of them are good at scoring in isolation and like they can dominate the ball, but none of them I've ever felt like, oh, those are guys that you just like their problem is they're a black hole. You can't get them to be a distributor. It's not like not even just a distributor, but be a guy that can play off ball. It's not like a Trae Young, Luka Doncic situation. Like, because we've seen all of these guys play off. Like, Durant is one of the best off-ball superstars in the history of the league, and Booker has he learned to play that way along Chris Paul, and it fit very well. Brad Beal had to do that earlier in his career before he became what he is now. So in theory, you would think it wouldn't be that out of the realm of possibility for him to, kind of adapt back to that. But yeah, so that's why I don't hate. Also, the other thing with the Suns is what else do people think they should have done? Like, people criticize this move, but then at the same time, I don't think those same people would be like, oh, but I like the core of Chris Paul, Booker, and Durant. If you don't like Beal, Booker, Durant, I don't feel like you'd like Paul, Booker, and Durant that much more. And so what would you suggest they do? Like, just waive Chris Paul, lose him for nothing? Or like, what other deal was out there to move Chris Paul for?
I don't not like the Suns part of it. I just don't get why Brad Beal was like, that is my best chance to get a ring. That's what I'm not as like.
Because I feel like it might be out of the moves or deals that were available, it might be the best. Because where else would Brad go? I guess to like the Sixers, but I think the Sixers, they were the ones who pulled out.
Sixers and Celtics were both out. They weren't interested.
Miami, that might have been. I don't know if that was on the table or not. Like, they would have had, maybe that it wasn't. Maybe Miami was, because that would have been a better deal for the Wizards, because the deal that Miami probably would have had to make was Tyler Hero. And,
unless they knew that the Suns were throwing up a whole lot of nothing and tried to lowball him way too low, which is also a very Pat Riley thing to do. Like, to be like, oh, that's all the Suns are giving you is a bunch of seconds and then their entire bench, and then Chris Paul, who's not going to stay. You know what I mean? Like,
and so he'll let that happen, you're saying?
So he offered something way lower to be like, well, I'll try to get my best deal, because I'm not going to give you Tyler Hero and a bunch of things if I don't have to.
First round,
And then, who knows all the things that go on in the background? But it was, the Suns' odds jumped, and I'm sure that they should have, like, it's a better chance to win, but like, I don't see that like this elevates the Suns to this crazy better basketball team in my brain, especially because of all they lost. It's more not the addition of like perfect world, take Chris Paul, flick him to the side, place in Brad Beal. That's whatever. It's the like 5 players under contract and one of them doesn't want to be a Phoenix Sun named DeAndre Ayton. Like, that's the big problem.
Well, they got 3 players in the deal, so they have 7.
I thought it was only after.
I did see that
5 total.
I saw a post that said that, but the official deal now, like I just checked before we started recording, is Brad Beal, Jordan Goodwin, and Isaiah Todd coming over, which both those guys are like bench players. Like, you don't want them to be getting significant minutes probably, but they are bodies that are on your basketball team.
This isn't updated yet, but
yeah, I got it from Woj's Twitter.
No, I was saying the Basketball Reference roster is not updated yet.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't think.
Because the basketball would be KD, D-Book, DeAndre Ayton, and then Brad Beal, and Ish Wainwright.
Yeah, he's under contract still?
He has a team option.
Oh, okay.
Going into next season.
I want to say Campaign also is under contract.
I thought Campaign was gone. Or is that... See, I don't know what the... Campaign's still there?
I think so. Let me check that one out.
So then he is still under contract. He's through this year at $6.5 million.
Campaign is?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I guess the angle of it that I do see the criticism for the Suns is like the future view, like looking forward, because like for this season alone, like for basketball reasons alone, I don't think this is a bad trade at all. But if we're looking at how this is going to it's going to severely cripple them, especially like with this new CBA, paying 3 guys on supermax deals, all of them at least to 2026, because Durant's deal ends in 2026. Beal has an option for 2027 that's like a $57 million option, and then Booker is locked up through 2028, and all of them are on the same supermax deal. So I think that puts them pretty squarely into the second apron of this new tax bracket or whatever, where they're going to be paying a buttload of luxury tax. Like it's going to cost them much more money than other teams to man the roster. And then on top of that, they won't have the ability to sign anybody else outside of those guys that isn't on a minimum deal. So they can only sign minimum deals to fill all of their other roster spots in the future.
And that's never worked. That's never worked.
I don't think we've ever seen somebody try to build a roster like this, but
the closest we got was the Heat big 3.
That's true. And I mean, that worked, this is a different...
Depends on what your definition of work is. Because according to LeBron James, they weren't going to have 1, they weren't going to have 2, they were going to... that's being dramatic.
Yeah, if you win a ring, I think you can say it worked, in my opinion. But
Miami also bounced back, so it did work in Miami, I guess, because they never went to this pit of just despair where they were Charlotte for 10 years because they won a ring. They've never gone to that depth.
Yeah,
and I don't think they will as long as Pat Riley still has his fingers in the basketball operations.
But this new NBA is a different economy with the collective bargaining agreement that's changing things. So I don't at least for the way I understand it, they're going to be severely tied up, not have a lot of flexibility in terms of guys they can get on the fringes. And so they're going to have to rely on higher caliber players that are usually veterans, probably, that are like, I'll take a minimum deal for like a 1-year minimum to try to go and win a ring here with this team.
Jay Crowder, go prove yourself.
That type of thing. But I've heard, some people bring that up and say, well, if the Suns are going to be relying on that, I don't even think the Suns are going to be the best option out there for that type of player, because the Nuggets could be a team. Like a lot of people want to go play with Jokic, and that for years to come is going to be an option for people at, for buyouts and at the deadline and in free agency, for guys to just be like, I'll go to Denver for a year. What we got with Bruce Brown.
You can't sign buyout players if you're in the second apron.
Is that true?
Teams above the second apron cannot sign players on the buyout market. The exact definition of what the buyout market is has yet to be revealed, but it'll likely apply to any players who is traded and waived during the season or waived while sacrificing a portion of their salary. That's going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's how teams that have been up against that's what they've done. They've just been like, just sign
get some buyout guys.
Get a buyout, and then we'll go get buyout guys. But also so the second apron thing, it only would have affected 4 signings last season. And it was Gallinari to the Celtics, DiVincenzo to the Warriors, Joe Ingles to Milwaukee, and Wall to the Clippers. So none of those, DiVincenzo to the Warriors none of those really affected the landscape of what happened through the season. But it'll just be interesting as
Gallinari probably would have, to be fair.
Would have, but he didn't just because he got hurt.
Yeah.
He definitely, I think, would have. But it is how it is. I think about that one too often.
Yeah. Yeah, no. That was a crazy last year in the offseason, the Celtics, it was like it just felt like were primed for. I mean, it did end up. It was a great season overall. Just not.
I think GM Brad this year has been almost more impressive. Thursday will be a big decider, I think, on like what is so crazy, or what this season will be looked at. Will be
what pick you got?
35. We don't have a first round.
Yeah, same
but
here.
I'm pretty confident that 35 or 30. I think 35 and Pritchard will turn into a first round, or 35 Pritchard and somebody will turn into a lottery. Or I am sure the Celtics will be drafting round 1 on Thursday. But
yeah. Oh, you think that they'll move up? You're saying
they'll package Pritchard in that 35 because that gets you into like just outside of the lottery. There's a lot of decent guys at that spot, that level of like, or even if it's package those two and then move up and then get like trade for somebody using that pick. I don't know I think we will have a very active draft night. Which will be tune in for that. Pay attention for that because we'll do.
I think we're going to try to do it live. Like go on YouTube Live, maybe.
So you hear that like we are as stupid as we always are. We kind of just Logan makes it sound a little smarter, but not really. It's pretty much unadulterated, just dope coming out of the hose. But
no, I just feel like that would be fun to do. Just like since we haven't tried it before, and
it'll be
just why not? I don't care if nobody watches it live, but
I prefer it that way.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure it's pretty. I've never done it before, like I said, so I don't know. But I'm sure you can just upload it straight after you record it or do it live, and it becomes a video you can watch later. But yeah, so that's the plan on Thursday. What time is the draft? Do you know? Do you have that up?
7 Central?
I'm not sure. I haven't checked that.
It's 7 Central.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so 7 Central. That's when you should. Well, we might actually go a little bit before that. We would probably start our live stream a little bit early. But yeah, you don't need to hear us plan the details of that right now, because we are talking about the Wizards, Suns. So craziness. Yeah, like I think we've said enough on that, though. I guess I understand the part of it that's like you've just locked yourself into this weird future that doesn't have a lot of flexibility. And Brad Beal, who knows? Like just going based off of the past 2 years, it looks like a guy that probably won't be worth that money. I mean, he's not worth that money right now. And so he probably won't be worth that money even to a greater extent when he's 33 in 2027 for $57 million. So, and Durant, who knows with him, I feel like it's not going to take too drastic of a drop off right now, but I don't know what a couple years from like down the road is going to look like. But yeah, so he still has a no trade clause. The other thing with Beal that makes things even harder. So that it's built into his contract that like it, and it rolls over to his new contract with the Suns that he still has a no trade clause. So he still has to decide whether or not he can be traded in the future to other teams. So that's going to, again, restrict the amount of moves you can make as a GM with James. I think it's James Jones still. Yeah, I want to say. I don't think that the new owner, Matt Ishbia, has completely uprooted everything there.
Jones still.
Okay. But yeah, so from the Wizards' perspective, I think this was a pretty good deal for the most part. Like
about as good as I thought they were going to get. Like with the situation that they put themselves in, not once but twice with John Wall, and then they did it again with Brad Beal,
and
a little bit with Kristaps. Honestly, they've put themselves in this like, we'll just take whatever, and then try to deal with it later. They dealt with it okay, I thought.
Are you talking about the contracts?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Like they've navigated out of some atrocities to mankind.
Oh yeah.
Like is John Wall still making, or was this his last year making almost $30 million?
He got bought out of his deal, I want to say, with Houston, because he signed for mid-level with the Clippers a couple of years or last year, and then he got traded again back to Houston for some reason. But so I think it's more of a win, like an addition by subtraction for the Wizards. Not an addition in terms of like being a better basketball team right now, obviously, but in terms of rebuilding, this is the right direction. It hurts not to get a first rounder in there, but I guess the swaps are nice, because that just bolsters the value of your own picks, really, you know. So, but yeah, I just feel like getting off Brad Beal, getting off that contract that was pretty dumb to sign at the time, especially with the no trade clause thing, which is just a detail that still is like weird to see. Because barely any. I don't even think like Jason Tatum. I don't even know if LeBron James has a no. I'm sure he does, but it's not a very common thing for people to get no trade clauses.
Stephen A. actually had recently a list of 5. There's only 5 guys he thinks deserve the no trade clause. Granted, this is Stephen A.
Yeah, but I feel like it would be a good list. But he might have to throw some wild thing in there just to make it a Stephen A. list, like to make it pop off, make people talk about it.
Who do you think one is?
Jokic.
He's on the list, but he's not one.
He's not?
And I don't know, this might not be in order. This might just be like 5 people that he thinks deserve it. I didn't listen to the clip. It's Giannis is 1. Jokic is another one.
At 2? Or...
I'm not doing the order. We're just going to pretend, give him the benefit of the doubt because the order's stupid. We're just going to pretend that we're giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, Giannis, Jokic, there's 3 more. LeBron?
Yep, which I don't think he should still be there, but yes. Who LeBron is as a concept of a player, yes. But right now, no. If LeBron's signing a new contract next year, I'm not giving him a no trade.
Mm-hmm.
I would not want to give him a no trade.
Steph has to be on here, right?
Yes, Steph is on there. And then the 5th one.
Is this a curveball?
It's the straightest curveball possible.
What does that mean?
It's a curveball, but it's like not.
Okay.
It's a guy that is in this upper echelon of NBA basketball players.
Is he been on the team that he's on? He's been with for a long time.
Been there, yeah. Drafted, been there for a while, couple years at least. Humbly one of the best basketball players on the planet.
Jason Tatum.
It is Jason Tatum.
Because you said humbly one of the best basketball players on the planet.
Because I didn't think you'd get it. Because I was like, Luka maybe, but the way Luka plays, I don't know if I want a no trade clause.
Yeah, I was between Luka, Tatum, and Embiid. I thought it was going to be one of those 3 guys.
I think Embiid would have been a proper curve.
Yeah.
Not that Embiid, he's an MVP, but like, Jokic, I think, is the only one where I'm like, we're good.
And Steph. I think Steph deserves that too.
But my thing with Jokic, if I'm thinking purely like cutthroat basketball, no, Jokic isn't going to play for that long. If I get screwed, it's fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't. He's not. I have no idea how long he's going to play. Like, I wouldn't. I'm not going to. I don't feel comfortable betting
37.
Okay, that's still a long time from now. That's still 9 years.
Is he what?
He's 28.
I thought he was 29. Anyway,
no,
that's still, I guess that's a year.
He turned 28 in February.
Does he play to 35? And this is a thing that write it down, everybody. Go back in time when Jokic decides to just become like a normal human and goes to his Hall of Fame thing and goes, "I was going to retire, and then I went to the parade." Remember?
What
That
you
man was
said,
having
yeah.
the time of his life at that parade.
Mm-hmm.
That
He
was like,
I wonder if he regretted it the next day though. If he felt a little,
on his flight
hungover.
back to Sombor for the horse races.
Yeah. On his not his private jet, but Josh Kroenke's private jet. Did you see that he asked?
No.
He was
If
on
he could use it so he could get there better.
Yeah.
To get there faster.
He asked the owner of the Nuggets for his plane. Yeah.
Which that guy, we need to make sometime an owners tier list on like just accidentally the most successful owners, because that guy's got to be up there.
Oh yeah.
He owns like a weird number of things, and they've all won in the past 5 years.
Yeah, Stan Kroenke, so the dad.
Yeah.
He's because like I think the Nuggets it's half owned by Stan and Josh, who's his son, and then because like the Kroenke family is like an empire that own a bunch of different sports franchises, but I think Stan is involved with all of them. So he has the Nuggets, he has Arsenal, he has
Avalanche,
somebody else who just won a title in baseball, maybe. Who won the World Series recently?
No, he has the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh yeah, he has the Rams for the Super Bowl. Does he have a baseball team?
It would be the Rockies.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't he have the Broncos then?
Because he already has the Rams.
But what? So what if
conflict of interest?
Yeah, but what if he already had a baseball team in a different city? Like why does he?
I will. Oh wait, he's why altitude sucks. It's him. Just kidding. He's F tier owner. Well, straight to F tier.
Why? I feel like Comcast is the reason why altitude sucks. Well, it's not altitude. It's just they don't have the Comcast is refusing to sign the deal with them at the price that the Kroenke family said they need to get paid, which is, I think, a fair price. But Comcast has been referencing, they keep looking back at these projections from several years ago with the Nuggets, what ratings the Nuggets used to get back when we were bad and a rebuilding team. And they say, this is the current interest in the Nuggets. So this is what it's worth, and then that's their offer. The Kroenkes are like,
this guy owns an Overwatch League team.
Like the video game?
Yeah.
Stan Kroenke.
The Rams, the Nuggets, the Avalanche, the Colorado Rapids, which is soccer,
MLS.
Arsenal, and then the Los Angeles Gladiators, which is an Overwatch League team in the Pacific West Division. Owned by Josh Kroenke and Stan.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. But yeah.
Wait, but they got their money from Walmart? Doesn't Walmart own the Broncos too?
Well, they aren't like synonymous with Walmart, but they were
some involved. Of their money came from Walmart.
I think they were one part of Stan Kroenke was like one of the CEOs at one point, I think.
He married a Walmart.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what it was. Yeah, his wife is from I forgot their last name. Walton, yeah.
Of the co-founder. So this dude's children own or could own everything in Denver. Or maybe that's how the Walmarts ended up with Denver. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that was part of the vision. That they just want to have all of the Denver area sports.
Yeah, perhaps. Mark Lowry is also kind of Walmart.
A Call of Duty team?
Is this Kroenke
also?
Los
Angeles Gorillas? Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even know that they had like cities for esports teams.
And I've also gotten super into this recently. It's the National Lacrosse League.
Yeah.
And ironically, the Colorado Mammoth they just won the title.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also owned by the Kroenkes.
Really? I believe that. Yeah. Nice.
But the National Lacrosse League, if you're ever looking for just some high quality, good old fashioned entertainment,
I follow them. I follow the Mammoth on Instagram at least. They're like always they're always the Denver or Colorado team that posts like about the Nuggets, like where they like the Nuggets and them like post stuff to each other
together.
Like, oh, congrats!
Well, probably because they're both owned by Stan.
Yeah, that's true. But so is the Avalanche, so I would assume they would. But yeah, I don't know.
I think I'm going to become a Saskatchewan Rush fan.
Saskatchewan Rush, is that lacrosse?
Yep, that's one of the lacrosse teams. I need to find a Calgary Roughneck maybe. Oh, it's a Vegas Desert Dog. Look at me. I'm a Vegas Desert Dog at heart.
Is there like a KC team or like geographically close to Nebraska?
So looking at a map, you take the United States and Canada and then draw a circle conveniently around where we live with the border being Denver, and there's no teams there. So it's like Halifax, Albany, New York, Philly, Buffalo, Toronto, Rochester, Georgia, and then nothing until you get to Denver. Then you got Vegas, San Diego, Vancouver, Calgary, Saskatchewan. Then there's a team in Texas that's Panther City.
Is there Chicago or Minneapolis?
Nope, it is a big old circle.
Wow, no Chicago.
So you go you just Denver to what appears to be Fort Worth. So Denver to Fort Worth to Atlanta, Georgia. North all the way up to Saskatchewan. There's nothing. It's just a void of lacrosse.
Okay. How many teams are in the league?
One, two,
we don't need to get into all if you didn't have the number.
16?
Okay. Yeah. So it's
15,
like half.
15.
So yeah, so it's like half of a normal North American's like sports league, major league. So because it's young. It's young and budding.
I think I'm a Vegas Desert Dog looking at the mascots here.
You need a petition to get Omaha as an expansion team.
A team in.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also in Duluth. It's not in Atlanta. I apologize to Georgia Swarm fans everywhere. They've got a sick logo.
Duluth, Georgia is a city?
Duluth, Georgia.
Okay. I think of Minnesota when I hear Duluth, but
I think most people do.
Yeah.
But anyway, we went down a whole rabbit hole. How long have we been cooking? A while.
Yeah. But yeah, we basically covered everything other than the last segment. I'd like to talk about Chris Paul a little bit, maybe.
Draymond. We forgot Draymond.
Yeah, we'll touch on Draymond, I guess. I don't think that should take long. Draymond declined his option, which I think was like $27 million. And people were a little bit surprised by that, but I think that's just because like the reason why he's doing it is to get a smaller deal with the Warriors in order to sign, give them more flexibility to sign some more pieces to try to help them compete this year. Which is not surprising at all coming from a guy like Draymond, because on one hand, he can punch his teammate in the face, but on the other hand, he really cares about his team and he wants to win. So both of those situations are not surprising, oddly enough. But yeah, so I don't know, I guess, who they're in the market for or anything, just that I'd mention it. But the other thing is that I'd like to speculate on a little bit really quick is Chris Paul, where he could land, because I doubt the Wizards are going to want to keep him because they're going full rebuild, and which is a really dumb time for them to go full rebuild, honestly, in retrospect, because like they should have done it last year in preparation, like right before the Wemby and not just Wembanyama, but a super deep draft, a super deep talent pool of players. And then 2024, by all accounts, is supposed to be a pretty big dud of a year. So like they chose the weirdest year to go all in on tanking, or not necessarily tanking, we'll say, but tearing things up, getting rid of a lot of their better players, going youth movement. So, but anyways, Chris Paul, yeah. So he probably won't be with the Wizards, I'm guessing. Let's see where he does end up as a buyout guy, most likely. I'm thinking we could see him go with the Clippers again. That would be interesting. I've seen some people say the Nuggets. I don't love that one. Like, in order for me to love that one, I think he would have to be okay with coming off the bench, to be honest. Because I feel like adding Chris Paul to our starting five doesn't help anything. It more so just makes it weirder.
Yeah.
But him as like a backup, that would be like amazing. That would be like a Tyus Jones type situation, but perhaps even better, you know? Gives you basically like it's like free offense for your backup unit. But yeah, so, or Kyle Lowry, kind of like what Kyle Lowry's been doing with the Heat coming off the bench for a long time now, or all season, I guess I shouldn't say a long time. But yeah, so did you have any off the top of your head? Or what do you think of those ones that I said?
I didn't have any that like the Clippers was the one that I saw that I was like that'd make my heart happy.
Mm-hmm.
Send them back to, and it'd be interesting. And I'm also preparing for how like Kyle Lowry was like that guy, and then like he kind of took a step back after he left Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is going to be the Chris Paul, like, okay, it's over. Like he's just going to be a very good piece to a team, but he won't be the Chris Paul that honestly everybody probably thought he was like. Everybody thought he's been done the past like 2 teams he's moved from, but I think that he's actually going to stop being as much of a force across the league. So I don't have a team like I'd like to see the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can think of. No. How do you pay him?
Well, I mean, he would be obviously for most of these teams, he's probably like a mid-level exception, assuming
if he comes to the Celtics for that. Sure. No, actually, no.
Wait, why? What is the reason? Like
what
the Celtics...
he gets rid of. Like, okay, like thinking about it, because then he starting point guard probably wants to be.
Yeah, I would. If you're the Celtics, who else would you want starting at point guard?
Marcus Smart. Like Marcus Smart does everything but the point guard thing so well. I don't know if we can afford to lose it. I feel like my team is teetered on this little corner.
But is Marcus Smart a better shooting guard than he is a point guard? Like he's a better like a combo guard.
I don't want Jason Tatum running the 4.
I mean, it's Jason. That's what you used to be. That's what like how it used to. It was like,
and it's worked out great for us with our 0 banner since 2008. I don't like. I want to die. I don't know what I want, and I don't think it's Chris Paul. Is that Isaiah Stewart? Do I just want Isaiah Stewart?
Where did that come from? How did the "I want to die" sentence fit with the rest of what you're saying?
No, I just don't know I don't know where the Celtics go. I have no idea.
Okay, but
I'm in just despair.
Isn't like having a distributor, initiator, like a point guard, just
something
like
we haven't
the definition
had since
of a point
Rajon
guard?
Rondo? Yes, you're correct, and it'd be great.
But isn't that like what the Celtics like kind of they need? Like it's like a void in their offense that they have been missing.
No, what our void was forgetting how to play defense.
You guys were still a top 5 defense in the league,
but not when it mattered.
Were you not?
I'm just in shambles. No, we were, but not the same. We hung our hat on the 3-pointer this year, hard.
Yeah, but that's like another like consequence of not having like a dynamic offense, not having like actions that you can consistently go to that are not just swinging the ball.
I was emotionally prepared to get rid of Jaylen Brown and just not start over, but like, and now all of a sudden we're keeping him.
Wait, you were emotionally prepared for that?
Yes, I was ready. I'd gone through my stages of grief. I'm like, this is going to be good in the long run. I'll still buy a Jaylen Brown jersey for the whoever. I still will love Jaylen Brown as a player, but I'm ready for the Jason Tatum era, alone, solo. I was mentally ready. And then yesterday, they've given up trying to trade Jaylen Brown. I don't even know if they really tried. We're going to give him a 5-year, not supermax, but match all offers. Zing!
So he hasn't signed that yet?
No.
But that's what's on the table.
From what I understood, they'll match anything, but they're not going to give him the moon.
Yeah. Makes sense. Because they're willing to give as much as another team is able to give. Because they don't have his bird rights.
But I don't think they do.
No, everybody else doesn't, obviously. Because
yeah. I was like,
it's like
unless
a DeAndre
they change how bird rights work, I'm almost positive the Celtics have the bird rights.
It's like a DeAndre Ayton situation. How the Suns didn't want to sign him to their max money, but they were willing to sign him to everybody else's max.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's what is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But
I could see that. But that's, again, not a thing that helps player relations all that much. When you pull that historically.
Unless Jaylen Brown knows that he crapped the bed.
Yeah. But
he had to show up one game. Just one game.
Did he not have any good games in the playoffs? I feel like he had several games where he was good.
Not alone.
Yeah, okay. So it had to be the specific games where obviously
no, like he just had to like show that I'm worth supermax money, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's like
I don't think he necessarily has.
But he's not. He hasn't shown it. He might be. Also, I'm on this bandwagon. Everyone says he makes these big, and I'm in the same boat. During my coping, I had to cope during my grief. So my coping strategy was like, how much better has he actually gotten? So I did a terrible thing, and I read the naysayers on the Celtics subreddit to see what they were saying about my friend Jaylen Brown. And they were like, he hasn't gotten that much better. They're like, he's gotten worse on defense. True. And the only reason his offensive numbers have gone up is because of usage. And I was like, that is an interesting angle. Let's take a gander. He has gotten slightly.
He's gotten better as like a shot maker. Like he can like.
Yes. You know what I want? I want just the ghost of Al Horford to be like, I'm only 33 and then come back and we just run it back. That's what I want. Because we're running out of good years of Al. But Al Horford only makes $10 million this year. He's a cheap contract this year.
Relatively, yeah.
For what we get out of him, I think that's a great deal.
I think that's probably a good deal. Assuming he doesn't fall off too much this next year.
I think
he's 35 now.
Yes, and I think that their plan is to use him in a way that he is.
Sorry, I think he's 36.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
To use him in a way that allows him to be like, you feeling good today, Al? Can we run you 24 minutes today? Feeling good?
It's kind of like how they have to do with Rob also.
Yeah, I think Rob, the Time Lord might be running out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough.
But what he does is so perfect, but there's a lot of guys that I think could do it also. That's why I think that they're like, yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if Draymond Green ends up taking less and ends up a Celtic, I'm quitting liking basketball, and I'm a full-time football guy.
Why would he end up a Celtic?
I saw some, like, not a report, like, Celtic subreddit is a dark, dark place. Never go there.
Okay.
It melts brain cells, and they don't put funny memes very often. The only funny meme they've ever was the Derek White Buffalo Soldier one, and it's a dark place.
Mm-hmm.
My brain's melting.
What happened? You said Draymond Green was in a.
Oh, they just said there's just some weird way that Draymond takes less money and then somehow ends up a Celtic, like sending Robert Williams out there and something else, and Marcus Smart and him are friends. Something, I don't know. I just hated it, and I didn't look at it that close.
It doesn't seem like something that would happen.
It doesn't. But you know what else I didn't think would happen?
What?
A lot of things. My brain's melting. Fair. I'm sorry. I'm running out of juice.
That's fair. Okay, so with that, then I guess we should wrap up with a quick game. Jacob, you want to get 3 random players and a Hall of Famer? Do you want to play also?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I've got a great 3. Oh, this was a banger 3. Oh, we might have done the first one already. We'll see.
Okay. We can reuse. It's not a big deal.
Now that I'm looking at this, have we done all 3 of these players?
It doesn't matter to me. If you like them, then we can roll with them.
I've already rolled away from them.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I did.
Gave up so soon.
Okay, it was I have Alex Len, which I'm almost positive we've done as a person.
I don't know. I feel like I've guessed him before, but I don't know if he's been a person. But anyways,
I've got a great 3.
Okay, I have 3 for you. And I'll just think of a Hall of Famer to use really quick instead of because my thing is lagging really bad. Let me think of one fast. Why is this hard? Mine. Okay, I got one. So I'll give you yours first. I'll start with the easiest one of the current 3.
Okay.
At least it's from the current NBA player generator. That doesn't necessarily mean they are signed to a team right now.
Recurring trend.
Yes. Okay, so I just regenerated them because one of the guys I was like, I don't even know who that is. So here we go. This guy is definitely on a team right now. Do you want college first?
Yes.
Okay. He went to UCLA.
Russell Westbrook.
No. This player was in the 2015 NBA draft.
2015 slow-mo Kyle Anderson?
Mm-mm.
He might not even be 15. UCLA. Pre-Lonzo Ball, UCLA.
Yes. Do you want... No. Do you want the pick, or do you want like the team he went to?
The team.
Okay, so it's the Golden State Warriors is where he was drafted.
Golden State Warriors 2015. Was he a part of that championship team? Like, would I know his name from that team?
Yes, definitely.
Festus Ezeli didn't go to... Oh, Kevon Looney.
Yep, Kevon Looney.
Yeah.
Well, so he wasn't part of the 2015 championship team, obviously, because that was the year before he was drafted. But
the era.
Yeah, I thought when you said that championship team, I just assumed you meant like last one or like there several. But yes, Kevon Looney was the correct answer, which he only has Loon as a nickname.
Oh,
also, there is no way he is only 222 pounds. That is one of the biggest lies ever told.
Ready for yours?
I am ready.
Your easiest one. I know he's on a team for sure. 7 foot tall, 280 pounds.
7 foot tall, 180? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
180.
280. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Almost 300 pounds.
I was like 180 pounds, 7 foot. That has got to be the like craziest ratio in NBA history. That's like more than Pokashevsky, because he's like 7 foot 190, I think. Anyway, so 7 foot 280. That is Joel Embiid.
It is.
There's not many guys.
Got JoJo, The Process, do a 180.
Do a 180.
Troel.
Yeah.
And then the Phantom of the Process.
Oh, that's a good one too. I was wondering if do a 180 would be on there. That's hilarious.
I forgot about that, to be honest.
Do you remember how that started?
Wasn't it the video?
There's like, it was Jeopardy. So on Jeopardy, a question was, what is like Joel's nickname, basically, Joel Embiid's nickname. and the guy says, "Do a 180."
I've seen videos of him like reacting to it, and so that's what I thought. Okay, so that makes more sense. That it was a Jeopardy.
Yeah, it was a Jeopardy botched answer. But yeah. So, your next guy, you gave the nickname. So your next guy is, I don't know if he's still in the league, but he was very recently, and he was like a actual like functional.
Marcus Aldridge.
No, he's not very old.
Oh.
Let me look. Yeah, he's not quite 30. He's not even 30 yet.
Oh wow.
But his last year was the 2021 season, and he was like a solid, like a reserve 3-and-D wing.
Where do you go to school?
Michigan.
Trey Burke.
Nope. Did you hear I said he was a 3? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what you're yelling at 3.
So he's 6'6". Very good guess. Close to that, kind of. Around the same time frame. But he's 6'6", 222. So the same weight, apparently, as Kevon Looney. That's what it says.
Who's built like Kevon Looney and went to Michigan?
Well, he's not, because Kevon Looney's, there's no way he's 20 or 222 pounds.
Duncan Robinson's not right. The Wagners, neither of them, because they're both still in the league, and they're taller. I already said Tim Hardaway.
Do you want the team he was drafted to?
Sure.
Minnesota.
Is he known as a T-Wolf?
Not really. I don't even really remember him on the T-Wolves, to be honest.
What do you remember him as?
Pacers.
A Michigan Wolverine that was a Pacer.
Mm-hmm. He played for some other teams too, but Pacers was like his longest stretch, and that was where I was like first really familiar with him, was when he played for the Pacers.
Brazdeikis never played for the Pacers. He's still in the league too, isn't he?
I doubt it. The second question, I doubt it. First question, it's very possible that he played for the Pacers.
I'm just blanking on like Pacer. Like I'm just blanking on Michigan Wolverines. Mm-hmm. What year was he drafted?
2014.
2014. So is that okay?
Jokic draft. Not really the Jokic draft, but it was the Jokic draft, but it's not really known as that. It's the Giannis draft. Right? Or is Giannis 2013? No, 2014 is the Wiggins, Embiid, Parker draft.
I'm drafted by the Wolves?
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Michigan.
Yeah.
And he was known as a Clipper.
I said Pacer, right?
Pacers. You said Pacers.
40th overall pick. Career length 7 years. I just read that off of his. He was born in Gary, Indiana.
Gary Robinson. I don't know. That's just the first Gary that popped into my head. Gary Temple. No, that's Garrett Temple.
Garrett Temple.
I have no idea. I'm like racking my brain.
You I almost gave it to you because of how close you were to his name.
Temple?
No.
Robinson.
You said
is it Glenn Robinson? Yeah, Glenn Robinson.
Yeah, Glenn Robinson III. Yep. When you said Gary Robinson, I was like, is that even a person? But like, does he mean Glenn Robinson? Yeah, that is who it is. Glenn Robinson III. GR3 or Trey apparently is one of his nicknames. I don't know whoever. I don't think any like basketball people called him that, but Um, yeah. Apparently, it feels weird that he's not in the league anymore because last time he was in the league was with like Sacramento, Philly, and Golden State. And at least with Golden State, he was like a serviceable 3-and-D guy.
Okay. You ready?
I am ready.
Your next player is 6'8", 235 pounds.
Is he currently in the league?
Yes.
6'8".
Yes, he is in the league, but will not be for much longer.
Oh, really? Because he's retiring? Udonis has
probably. Him. Yeah, but Udonis has him. I gave that away so bad. I didn't know what else to do. I also didn't realize how Miami this guy was. Like the least Miami thing about him is that he went to school at Florida in Gainesville instead of going to the University of Miami.
Yeah, he's from
other
Miami.
Than that, he's like a Miami guy. He's played there for I don't even know how many seasons this is.
21?
20 seasons. Yeah, he went to Miami Senior in Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
UD is the only nickname they've got listed for the gamer.
Makes sense. Which is funny because it's not even like his initials. It's just like the first 2 letters of his name.
UD.
UH, I guess, doesn't sound as nice. Or sound as menacing either.
It's
UH.
True. UH.
All right, so your last player. This guy is the youngest guy so far. And I'm pretty sure he's still in the league. He was at some point this season, at least. I'm waiting for my computer to finish loading up his basketball reference page. Here it is. Okay, so he played. Yes, he was in the league this season. Where he went to school. It's very obscure, but I doubt you know where this guy went to school, so I doubt this gives it away. William and Mary is the college.
Point guard?
No. I guess I'll give you the year he was drafted was.
No, that guy didn't. Okay.
Oh, apparently he wasn't drafted, actually. I remember him as a rookie, though. I thought I remember him in the draft, too. But maybe he just was a guy that potentially would have been drafted. But anyways,
I have no idea.
He signed with
I'm like, what? I'm digging for William and Mary, and I'm drawing blanks. St. Mary's.
I don't think that would. I mean, St. Mary's. It's a high school, I think, or St. Mary's also a college, right?
Yeah, like I have no William and Mary brains in my brain.
I couldn't even say that was a college or not. I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds familiar, but like so does all of those just saying like names like that. Like you could put a combination of any names like that, and I'd be like, "Yep, probably a school." But yeah, so he went to the Atlanta Hawks for his rookie year. Then he went to Minnesota for the next 2 years. He's a center. His name kind of sounds like he'd be like a character in a novel.
Glenn Brown.
No, it's or like a superhero, like the name of a guy who is a superhero. Not like the superhero name, but like his birth name of a person that is just in a superhero movie.
Adam Dark.
Very similar. Extremely similar. Like just in terms of vibe.
Okay, I'm not going to get this. This will be excruciating for people to listen to. I have no idea.
Is Nathan Knight.
Yeah, I would never.
Yeah, he. That's a Nate. He has a nickname listed, and it's Nate. Nathan Solomon Kapahula Knight.
Oh,
I apologize for the pronunciation, but that I tried my best. So I am ready for my next one. If you are.
This is an all-time nickname guy.
Okay.
5'11", 175.
Brandon Goodwin.
Nope. They are a point guard.
Makes sense.
And they are a 2022 NBA champion.
Chris Chiozza?
Yeah. Cheese.
Yeah.
Chris Chiozza. Cheese.
That's a great nickname. Is that the only one?
Yep, that's the only one they've got listed. Is just cheese.
That's all you need, honestly.
That's all. Cheese is all you need.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. I'm going to give you your Hall of Famer. Let me wait for it to load. Okay. So this guy went to the University of Georgetown.
Allen Iverson.
No. He has the same birthday as me.
I don't know NBA birthdays.
Yeah.
Is it Karl Malone? No, not Karl Malone. Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, there you go.
Patrick Ewing. Like, my brain saw Patrick Ewing and I said Karl Malone.
Yeah. Honestly, it makes sense. But yeah, big.
Yeah, totally.
No, it does. I mean, I get how just kind of gives you a similar aura.
Vibe.
Yeah, or vibe. Big Pat, Hoya Destroya, or Pat.
Oh.
I love that. It's just like the Hoya Destroya is sandwiched between Big Pat and Pat. Just it's the perfect order, honestly.
Here we go.
I should have given you like where he was born, honestly. Kingston, Jamaica. Like, I should have given you like clues like that before Georgetown.
You ready?
Yes.
This is a 6'5", 215-pound NBA Hall of Famer.
6'5", 215?
15, 15, yep.
Vince Carter.
No.
Is Vince Carter even in the Hall of Fame? I think he is.
I don't know if he is yet. I don't think so. Is he?
I'm not sure.
But this was a Big 12 basketball legend in college.
Oh, sorry. I was looking up Vince Carter. I want to see if he's in the Hall of Fame. He is not. Okay. You said he is a Big 12 guy?
Legend.
6'5". So he went to not Kansas, probably. Or he might have. Guess I can't think of a Hall of Famer that size from Kansas. Off the top of my head. K-State. Baylor. Texas. Texas Tech. Oklahoma State, Iowa State. Who am I forgetting in the Big 12? TCU.
You have said the team.
I have.
You have already said the team.
6'5", 215.
Yeah, I was pretty sure. Technically, it was the Big 8 when he played in it. But
okay,
you've already said the team, so that doesn't.
Trying to think. Man, 6'5", 215 is not ringing any bells for somebody like, because when I think of like Kansas, I'm thinking of like Wilt Chamberlain and Paul Pierce. Was he, in terms of Wilt Chamberlain and Paul Pierce, was he in between the timeline?
Era-wise?
Yeah.
Yes, in between the two.
Okay, that's a
closer to Paul Pierce, but in between the two.
Okay, thank you for that. I was going to say those are
that's
wide
pretty
range.
Much useless information, but
yeah. Closer to Paul Pierce, but so he was before Paul Pierce though. This isn't okay. Obviously, it's not Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan went to North Carolina, also 6'5", 215 doesn't really sound right. 6'5", 215. Where did Clyde Drexler go to school? Houston. Is Houston in the Big 12? They're joining the Big 12, aren't they? Like
they
right
are
now, like
joining it now,
currently.
but this was the Big 8.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be Iowa State, Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas, Kansas State, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, or Colorado.
Oh, Colorado.
This is one of your options.
But it's not.
Those
It's
are
not
the 8
that one.
schools.
It's not Colorado because I didn't say that before.
It's also not Nebraska because there's not any joy in Nebraska men's basketball.
Uh-huh.
I don't think there's a Hall of Famer. There isn't. I don't have to think. I know there isn't.
Did Bob Boozer go to Nebraska? I just know he's from Nebraska. I don't even know if he's officially in the Hall of Fame either, but he would be somebody I wouldn't be surprised. He's from Omaha. Anyways, this is a hard one.
He went to the same place as our player did.
Bob Boozer?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to think about where that is.
Would that help you?
Yeah, just tell me yes or no when I guess them.
Okay.
Because that makes me feel better.
Okay.
Than you just telling it to me. Oklahoma.
No.
Iowa State.
No.
Kansas.
No.
Kansas State.
Yes.
Kansas State. I like the only Kansas State. Oh, okay. But the only guy that comes to mind for Kansas State is like Michael Beasley.
Wesley Wendu?
Oh, yeah. He went to K-State.
That's not a Hall of Famer, but...
Yeah, but I'm just saying people in general. Like,
really?
Can't think of a lot. I can't think of many from K-State, no. Not a lot.
They were inducted as a Hall of Famer in 2014.
2014. Man, this is really bothering me. 6'5", 215. So is this guy, was he like a ball handler? Is he like a defensive player? He's like kind of big at 215. Is he like an athlete, like a dunker?
He averaged 21 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, just shot, or 3.5 assists, 4 total rebounds. Was a pretty good 3-point shooter. Let me find his percent. 38.8% from the 3-point line.
38.8. Okay, so that's pretty good. Can you say the volume? How many per game? Attempts.
I will. He attempted over his career just at 3.5.
Okay.
But during his what I would consider his his all-star seasons, because he had 5 all-star seasons, he shot 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3.
So did he play at the same time as Paul Pierce? Like what year did he retire?
2002.
Okay, so barely.
Like they barely
3 years. (2002). And can you give me his draft information? Like not the team, but everything else.
5th overall.
And a year?
In the 88 draft.
Is this like a very famous person? Am I like
Yes. Not like insane. He's not anybody's Mount Rushmore.
But he's like he's like a lower level Hall of Fame guy, right? He's not like a crazy. It's like, is this like Mitch Richmond?
Yeah, it's who it is. Exactly.
Okay.
Mitch Richmond III.
Yeah, that's like, at least I don't know too much about Mitch Richmond, but that's the guy that Bill Simmons always cites as like, he can't take the Hall of Fame seriously because Mitch Richmond is in it.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he says at least. But yeah, whenever, for some reason, the Run TMC guys, because, Tim Hardaway and Mitch Richmond and Chris Mullin.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the old guys, like at that era, guys that I can never think of in this game. Like, because that other time you had Tim Hardaway for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I could not think. I was just like not thinking of him. It wasn't coming to mind. But what did you say his nicknames for Mitch Richmond?
Rock and Hammer.
Like that's one nickname, or those are two?
That's it. Just Rock. Two separate nicknames. Rock, Hammer.
Nice. That all right.
That's it.
That's an interesting combo. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this very long episode. Probably shouldn't have played the game at the end of it, but you can't stop us. So please join the Patreon, do all that stuff. And thank you for listening. We love you. We appreciate you. Stay happy, stay healthy, and we will talk to you guys on Thursday.
Peace.